Justin Kurzel's Macbeth begins with a scene that isn't in the play and a character that isn't in Shakespeare's play, but has been in the theatrical tradition for nearly a century, in the literary critical tradition for over a century. I'm talking about the Macbeth's dead son. Kurzel's Macbeth begins with the funeral of Macbeth's child, who the the production seems to think is the kind of underlying psychological spur behind everything that Macbeth and Lady Macbeth do. Where would they get this idea? It's not in the play, it's in Sigmund Freud's essay on the play. A character whom I refer to informally as the Mac Baby has become a big part of the interpretation of this play since about 1914. 1916? Macbeth's essay, certain characters met with in psychoanalytic work, which is primarily an essay on Macbeth. Mac- Freud claims that Macbeth's weird behavior can be explained by the loss of a son that he and Lady Macbeth have, who is not in Shakespeare's text at all, but actors and directors love this. You have seen a gesture to the Mac Baby before. You've seen it in Throne of Blood. Why does the Macbeth analog character, like in the Lady Macbeth analog character, why does she get pregnant and lose the baby? Because that's the Mac Baby, right? That's the thing that's meant to be a spur to Macbeth. I'm on record not believing this so much, and especially I think it explains certain things and in a very Freudian way provides one explanation to make an more uncomfortable possibility less present. It's a way of, well, it's a defense mechanism. Kurtzel takes this super seriously. We see, and he's right about something. Shakespeare's Macbeth, the text itself, is full of the language of dead children, of the loss of children and dead sons on the plot level, in the language. Kurtzel visualizes that whenever he can. He shows us the funeral of the alleged dead Macbeth son. Macbeth and Lady Macbeth see dead young people throughout the film. Macbeth is often seen hallucinating or being shown, depending on how you look at it, an image of a young boy soldier who dies in an early sequence and who's about the right age to be the son his son would have grown up to be. Um, that person gets into the like that character gets into the is this a dagger I see before me? It's not enough for Macbeth to be hallucinating or being shown a dagger. He's got to see a person too. Lady Macbeth delivers a speech that she normally raised while sleepwalking to a vision of her dead son. The last shot of the movie is Fleance, Banquo's son, who is spared when his father is dead. Who is Fleance is important to the original genealogical fantasies of Macbeth. Banquo and Fleance are the alleged and historical ancestors, pseudo historical ancestors of King James I, who was really actually descended from Duncan and Malcolm for real, but also fictionally from Banquo and Fleance. Fleance in this film shows up, though he never shows up in the play after all. He shows up as a kid and he takes Macbeth's sword and he runs. And the last time we see this child with a sword running and kind of breathing heavily as he runs harder and harder, that's the final image we're left with. This play is haunted by 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 the Mac Baby, by Macbeth's alleged dead son, and by other dead youths, and by Fleance, the spared son. Kurtzel is so dedicated to children that he puts in a fourth witch. Famously, there are three witches. Kurtzel has a fourth one, so the fourth one can be a little girl, a child witch. Gotta be spectral children everywhere we can put them here. Kurtzel does things with the dialogue. There's a lot of soundtrack here, and there's a lot of white noise, a lot of surf and flickering fire. The dialogue is very spaced out sometimes. The dialogue is also very muted. Everybody's kind of whispering here. This film is doing one thing visually and another set of things acoustically, and that sound design really matters. Everybody is kind of speaking in a very private moment, somewhat to themselves, no, without a lot of modulation. Kurzel's also doing the thing. Kurzel is not adding dialogue. He's not adding lines, which sounds really bad when you try to add them to Shakespeare. It will stick out. But he is moving lines significantly, just as we've seen other directors do, including one of Macbeth's rants about how he cannot be killed by any man or woman born becomes now a public thing. The Macduff family gets publicly executed in a way that's reminiscent. How shall I put this? That's reminiscent of something that didn't actually happen in British history. Witch burning. They did execute witches. Believe me, they executed witches, but they hanged them. But in the popular imagination, we think they got burned, so we see Macbeth beginning to burn these people alive while talking about witches. This is also kind of a borrowing indirectly from Throne of Blood, where the Macbeth analog starts ranting to soldiers about how he's under a prophetic charm, rather than saying it one on one privately to opponents at the end, making a kind of ill-conceived public declaration of his demonic bona fides, which is not a shrewd political move. Whatever the film's visuals and sound are doing together is an open question, but there's no question there's a commitment. Kurtzels decided this is a story about the loss of children, and he's going to stick with that story every single frame.